I'm definitely going to need my Wonder Woman cup for this discussion. Okay, now I'm prepared. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Holly, and today we're going to discuss planner fails. Just because something doesn't work for you does not mean it isn't going to work for someone else, and it does not make you a failure. Failing at something and being a failure are two different things, because despite the terrible cliches, sometimes they're cliches for a reason, it's because they're true. The only way you really fail is if you don't try again. If you fall and you don't get up. That is the only true failure. As far as I'm concerned, that's kind of how I go about my life, because I fail a lot. And it's usually in a pretty colossal and spectacular fashion. So, you know, everybody's got their trials and tribulations. The one thing I can guarantee you about everybody on the planet, despite all the things they seem to might have going for them on the outside, everybody has got their Everybody fails. Failure is part of life. Accept and move on past it. Don't let it hold you back. Same thing with planners. Finding planner peace. You know, if it brings you joy, if it makes your life a little easier, and it really should. It should make your life a little easier. It shouldn't overcomplicate your life. If it overcomplicates your life and you find you're not enjoying it or enjoying the process, or it's not doing what you really would like it to do, whether that is help you to stay organized, help you to stay on task, whatever the situation is, you know, your planner could just be your creative outlet. But if that creative outlet is causing your cortisol levels to skyrocket every time you pull that thing out of a drawer, out of your handbag, out of your backpack, then maybe you should reconsider what you're doing. I am a person that, hey, if it is not working, I am not the type of person who is going to continue to try and cram a square peg into a round hole. So anyway, we're here to talk about my planner fails, or journaling fails. Some of them kind of cross the line there. I mainly use a planner to keep myself on track. I have adult ADHD. It's fairly recent diagnosis. I've been this way all my life, so, you know, I've had to learn certain coping skills to be able to function. And using a planner has been vital to my success, professionally especially. And I feel like even personally it has really helped me. But not all planners, not all journals are for all people. That's why there's a billion of them to pick from, because different people work in different ways, different people enjoy different things, different people need different structure to be successful. So, you know, I ran the gamut. I listened to some of the hype, I fell for some of the hype, and I just found it didn't work for me. At this juncture in my life, I don't feel like I have to continue to struggle through just to continue to struggle through. But you know what? At this point, I'm like, life is too short. I can't waste time doing that. If that is not what I want to do, if that makes me miserable, I'm not doing it. Stop the madness. I hung on to a few of these because I knew that I wanted to do this channel, and I knew this was something I wanted to address. I know that not all things are going to work for all people, and you should not feel like a failure if they don't work for you. Find something that works for you. It could be as simple or as complex as your little heart desires. I'm going to give you actual examples of the things that did not work for me. Now, I have also found this to be true, that something that doesn't work now might work in the future. Life changes, people change. I used to be a huge bullet journaler. I went from using a spiral bound planner, very, very structured, and then I went to bullet journaling because I needed something that I could put together myself, that I knew was going to be a system, and I liked the experimentation. I found I really enjoyed the creative aspect of that, putting that bullet journal together, but it got tiresome. God, and you can't turn around in the planner community without bumping into a video on bullet journaling. And some of those are super beautiful. I love looking at the planner setup videos. That is not for me. I find creativity in other outlets, but I am definitely not against anybody else who does that sort of thing. Holy cow. Some of those things are incredible. Anyway, back on topic. Planner fails, journal fails for me. Let's go over two that I didn't really even break into. They're both from one of my favorite stationery brands and one of my favorite notebook brands. And I've bragged on their products before in my favorites video. And the first one was this MD Midori notebook diary. This was in 2022. For whatever reason at the time, when I started trying to get into this, I couldn't. But the design is very simplistic, very minimalistic, and I thought I would like that. And I did my research. I mean, I went out there and looked at product reviews and flip-throughs and whatnot. So I didn't go into this completely blind, but for whatever reason, once I got it in hand, I just found I couldn't use it. And it's undated. It's got a very faint time grid there, if you can see that. Plenty of blank space here. I can't explain it. I was sure this was going to be the answer, and it wasn't. And I don't have to make it work, so there. Nah. The next one was also an MD product. I've been tearing pages out of this, covering them in gesso, and painting on them, or utilizing them in some other fashion. This was also purchased in 22 because I was so certain that Midori was gonna be the ticket. And guys, I know I am very fortunate, and I know this seems terribly wasteful and like I'm perpetuating this consumer, just mad consumer value of some sort. But because a planner is so essential for me to just be able to live my life, I dedicated a lot of money in trying to find the one that was right for me, because it really does bring that much peace of mind and organization to my very chaotic brain and very chaotic life. And I'm very fortunate that I had the disposable income to do that, and I know that. And these things are not going to go to waste, believe it or not. I am utilizing them, if not in their original capacity, then in some sort of other creative endeavor. This is probably meant to resemble the Hobonichi weeks. And for those folks that like the Hobonichi weeks, this is a wonderful little setup. You've got your dates over here. You've got this little divider line if you want to use it. And then you've got some blank area. This size does not work for me. And the same time, because I believe the hype on the Hobonichi train, I chased down the hype train on the Hobonichi stuff and threw myself in front of it on the tracks. Fortunately, one of the Hobonichi products actually worked for me, and I really like. But this and this, same issue. I don't know why I thought if this didn't work, that somehow this would solve all my problems. And you have some folks on YouTube that are like, this is it. This is planner piece right here in this tiny format. And look how cute this is. Oh, I dressed it up. I really tried. I dressed it up so cute. Oh my God, look at these guys. Oh my God. Have you ever seen anything cuter in your entire life? Oh, this is too small. This was, again, same issue. Tried to find other ways to use it. thought, okay, well, this was right after his surgery. Well, I'm going to keep track of my energy. So in December, I started using this planner to track energy levels, pain levels, trying to get back on track with getting on the treadmill again after surgery. That was really hard. Recuperation, when I was going to actually be able to return from work after the hospital stay. This format had zero appeal. I tried to use it as a food journal, keeping track of my exercise and weight. I tried to use it and I just quit. At this point in time, I'd already found the Hobonichi cousin because I bought them at the same time. Now I can have a planner and multiple journals, but trying to juggle multiple planners, particularly with my issues, I needed to have where I could keep all of this. If I wanted to keep all of this information, track all of this stuff, that I could do it all in one spot. Despite its super cute appeal, and I really wish it did work for me, well, it didn't. I feel like I did give this one a little bit of the college try. I tried it for a couple months and then just was like, this is too much for me to keep up with. Blah, I don't need this. It's too much pressure. And yoink, off it went. I want to use this just to be able to carry this around and look at this cover, because this cover, it makes me so happy. But cuteness is not enough. A couple of other things. These are more bullet journals, and one of them's just a straight up journal. They're both in formats that I put together myself. One of them was in this little guy. It's a weird size. I bought this, minimalism art. I bought this on Amazon. I think this might have been one of my last attempts to bullet journal when I was really tired of it. So I started to put it together like I would usually do in a bullet journal, and I put together all the calendars. I was trying different structures, thinking, no, I still want a bullet journal. Maybe it's just the format that I'm using. I'm bored with the format. Maybe I should try something different. So I did. This was the monthly, where this was straight out of Ryder Carroll's bullet journaling. It was one page, and he just did the dates and a single letter for the day. Then I tried this structure where I was like, I need to see where I'm spending my time. I was like, where am I spending my time? I'm getting through the day and I'm like, I didn't get anything done. What am I doing with my time? So I tried to set up a system, and it looks really pretty. Tried to set up a system where I was time logging, and then I was color coding my time log to figure out where I was spending my time. Why do I feel ineffective? Why do I feel like I'm not getting things accomplished that I want to do? Why am I not producing as much material, as much writing as I'd like to do? Because I have the time. Because I wind up doing piddly things. Especially, I'm watching YouTube. And not to discourage you to watch my channel, because I want you to watch my channel. But oh my God, YouTube. Oh, that is such a rabbit hole for me, because there is always something I want to watch, because I have a lot of interests. And then I tried using it as a food log. When the time journaling thing didn't really work out for me, I got tired of that. I found I was spending a lot of time journaling. I was logging my time and doing a lot of fun highlighting and stuff, and then I was like, I just wasted an hour and a half doing a time log. That's not an effective way. That is not an effective way to use my time. It was really kind of a cool setup. I had the times down the middle. I split days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but it's time at work and before and after work during the week that I'm like, where'd it go? Am I watching too much television? Yes, obviously I am. See this big blob? That was me watching TV from 7:30 to 9:30. Jesus. I did 5 o'clock through 11 o'clock, which were my peak times, of course, during the day. And then I did 12 through 4 o'clock here, because generally I was sleeping. So this was actually a little bit of a sleep log too. And you'll see up here at 5, to 6. I did mark that I slept. Usually I'm up by 5:30. So that was fun and very enlightening. When I quit time logging, see, in time journal, begin food log. I tried to utilize it using the same markers and the same split format to log what I was eating. What was the key? Okay, my key was purple is vitamins, blue sleep, green's exercise, yellow is fast, orange is drinking, and pink is eating. And I kept that for a little while. And then again, one of those things where I ran out of energy to keep that separated. I would consider that a fail. But I kept it because you never know. I may go back to bullet journaling. I may be like, what was that format that I experimented with that had the split down the middle of the page with the times? You should never write any of this stuff off as being a big waste of time. Your time is not wasted. If you find something that doesn't work, that's just as useful information to have about yourself as what does work. Another thing that I was using that I had so much fun putting together was a reading journal. I love to read. I wanted to keep more in-depth notes about what I was reading and how I felt about what I was reading at the time throughout the process. Again, became more of a time sink because I found myself journaling about what I was reading more than I was actually reading. This one I also purchased from Amazon because I wanted something that had a lot of pages. This is by a group called Vivid Scribbles, and it is dot grid, if you can see those very faint dots there. But the paper is thicker. I'm not sure how many pages this actually had. I only numbered up to 70. This cover is heavy duty and kind of got that leathery feel. And the price point was right. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it, but it was not much. And then I began to compose my reading journal. Look at this key. If that doesn't tell you something about the fact that I was overcomplicating this whole process, but I was really getting into it. Look at this key. Okay. I was gonna highlight blue fantasy, green sci-fi, nonfiction, literary fiction, romance, which I don't read a lot of, but I wanted a category just in case. Mystery, did not finish, D and F. And then over here I had, this was going to be my final judgment key code, where it was going to be loved, great, good, okay, not good, bloody awful. And then I was gonna, oh my gosh, okay. Now I know why this didn't work for me. I was overcomplicating this whole thing so much that I was just like, oh no, I can't do it. It's too complicated. And I'm the one that made up the system. That is so sad. That is so sad. Oh my God, okay. I literally set myself up to fail by making this too complex. Okay, so then I was gonna label what time. Oh God. I was gonna label what time of year I read, what source I got it from, whether I bought it, borrowed it, if it was a book, if it was an ebook, what format it was in, Audible. And then I was going to do additional labels. Oh my God, if that wasn't enough, I was gonna label it additionally. Okay, is this a series? Is it considered a classic? Did it win any awards? Was it a debut novel? Or was it a person, an author I wanted to watch for future books? Was it... And then the emotion that it evoked. Was it sad, funny, scary, enlightening, or boring? Oh my gosh. Guys, hey, if you cannot laugh at yourself and you cannot laugh at your own failures, oh, life is too serious and not very much fun for you. Jesus, I can't believe I completed a whole page with barely any room to spare for a key. And then the index. Okay, so I had segments on books I wanted to read, Then I had the actual reading journal. I wasn't going to journal about every single book that I read, but I wanted a little blurb about every single book I read, with the longer sections dedicated to ones that were a little more complex, or that I was going to plan on discussing with friends or with a book group. I started doing a rating out to the side here to just simplify, it. Oh, God. Books I wanted to read, and then I used those highlighters to specify genre. This was the general layout for the more in-depth reviews that I wanted to use, as you can see there, just so I knew that the basic template. I had a blank template there to refer to. Oh, this was, Jesus, I forgot. This wasn't all of it. There's a third page. Oh my God. Okay. I was going to use this color-coded to note how often and how long I read, reading goals, things that had been recommended to me and by whom. This was a 2021 book bracket. Every month I picked out my favorite book that I read that month and pitted against the following month's favorite book in a little tournament bracket, and then came up with my winner for the year. That was super fun. This was also very fun to put together. I ran copies of each cover out on my printer and stuck them in, and then I left a little space for a little blurb about them once I'd read them. This was where I had just a little blurb about every book that I had opened and started reading, even if it didn't have the longer section dedicated to it. And this is where I started utilizing the longer segment for a book. And I was following that format that I had set out for myself. This was all one book. This, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pages of fairly dense writing about that one book. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on that one. And then this one was a romance, and I was just like, I'm out of juice. I'm done. Then I tried to set up the next book bracket for 2022, and as you can see, didn't get very far with that. At that point, I lost steam. I started keeping notes in the actual book on a Post-it note written in the margins or on page flags, and that worked perfectly well. Was much, much simpler. This became like the kind of pressure you have with writing a thesis. So I stopped that, but again, kept it because you never know when that information might come in handy when you start a YouTube channel and you want to talk about planner and journaling fails. See, this thing, they're all useful in their way, maybe not in the way that they were intended, but see, they had a use. Now I know more about myself than I did when I started. That's the point, isn't it? Failing at things is just as useful a teacher as succeeding at things. Now that I've shared my planner fails with you, I'd like to know about some of your failures as well. So hit me up in the comments. I'm curious what's worked and what didn't work in the past for you. Thanks for sticking with me. I hope this provided something useful for you. It did for me. I got a good laugh at myself. So guys, just because you haven't found the planner or journal that works for you, keep trying. Keep trying. You'll find something that works. Life's an adventure, right? Keep trying. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Okay. Oof. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm snorting on camera. Oh no, that's terrible. Oh, maybe I should edit that out later.